Hi, Jim Gray here, and let's get right to it. Okay, so we're working in your Agent Production Tracker, and just to review, your tracker has 3 tabs: your Best Life Funding Worksheet, your Key Activities Calculator, and your Power Metrics Overview. And in this tutorial, we're going to be going over the Power Metrics Overview, but just to quickly review, you fill out your Best Life Funding Worksheet. The example we're using is Fred. Fred needs to do 41 units. So now we know that for Fred to fund his his perfect vision of his best life, he needs to do 41 units. This sheet will automatically populate that 41 unit number into the activities calculator for buyers and sellers. Fred needs to close 25 sellers and 16 buyers. He also needs to be having, based on the rule of 1%, 86 conversations a week or 17 conversations a day, so he knows his activities. And now he needs to be able to, on a weekly basis, looking at his activities. So here's what happens on Power Metrics. So there's a couple things here, just kind of stick with me. First, you want to track your conversations, right? The rule of 1%. I pick up my 1970s calculator and I can just tell you, take whatever number of closes you want to do. Let's say it's 36. If you divide that by 1% or 0.01, you'll get a number. In this case, it's 3,600. Then you divide that by the number of weeks you want to work in a year. Let's say it's 48. In this case, right, you'd have to have 75 conversations a week. And if you work a 5-day week, it's 15 conversations a day. Okay? So, in Fred's case, he needs to be having 86 a week. So what Fred does here is he keeps track of his conversations and he puts the number in, right? So this way, when he gets to the end of the month, he can see he's supposed to have 343 conversations. How many did he actually have? And then just keep cuming that number here. So over time, you'll be able to see, and Fred will be able to see, how many conversations he had. Can I tell you, one of the biggest mistakes I see agents make, and one of the biggest reasons they don't reach their goals, is they're just not talking to enough people. Okay, so now in Fred's case, right, he knows that he has to do 6 listing appointments a month on the seller side, and he needs to take 3 listings. And if he does that, he'll stay on track. He needs to do, on average, 2 closings a month, and based on his commissions, he's going to make about $12,000, almost $13,000 a month. So the numbers in red is where you keep your actuals. So when you're in a particular month, you keep a running total here, right, for listing appointments, and then a running total here, right, for your listings to date, and then your closings, and then your income, okay? It's the same thing, and then you run it down for year to date. So, if you started this, this month, and now we're 30 days down the road, and if you stayed on track to take those listings, or to have those listing appointments, in this case, you'd have 18 listings there, okay? So we just keep accumulating that number, okay? We just keep queuing it up. So here's what Fred knows. For sellers, he's going to make about $152,000. Does that make sense? So you can see there's the goal and the actual month to date for listing appointments, goal and actual month to date listings taken, goal and actual closings, goal and actual income, and then you keep a running total year to date at all times. And then you do the exact same thing for the buyers. So the idea is, you guys, that you can take a glance at your key metrics here, or your power metrics rather, and you can know where you are at any given moment. Also, here in this little table over here, we call this the units over under, right? You can keep track of what you're doing. So let's say Fred started in January, and he did 1 in January, he did 5 in February, and he's got 2 pending so far in March. So here's what you get, right? So here's the goal. You can see, so in March, if the goal is 3 closes roughly per month, he'll need to be at 10 closings by the end of March, right? He's closed 7 to date, and he's got an additional 2 pending in March. But if you look at his totals through the end of March, he's behind 1 unit. So this will help you keep track on a running basis where you are with your closeds and your pendings. Now listen, I know this might seem like a lot, but what I'm telling you is just to kind of sit here and marinate in it. This tracks your key metrics, your goals and your actuals, your goals and your actuals. You're looking at everything on a month-to-date basis, and then when the month ends, you keep a running total year-to-date for each of the key metrics. And the thing I want to tell you is focus on conversations and appointment set. If you start there and really get skilled at that, your closings will show up. So your power metrics are conversations, goal and actual, listing appointments gone on, goal and actual, listings taken, goal and actual, closings, goal and actual, and then income, goal and actual, right? Buyers and sellers. And you fill this out every single day. All right, I hope you found that useful. Review these tutorials if you need to, and I'll see you in the next lesson.